of the concepts that we look at in Lent is the concept of sin. Now, sin's got very complicated in people's minds. It either seems to mean anything that you'd like to do that's fun, or maybe the things that you like to eat that you shouldn't, or it's in some sense linked to rather nasty sort of puritanical people who want to mess you up. But none of that, of course, is exactly what's going on in the Bible. What God does is helps to be aware of the things that he does and doesn't like. Now, we know it's really important that we don't hurt the feelings of our nearest and dearest. We want to be positive, we want to be encouraging. And they do reckon now that for every criticism you need 5 encouragements. So just thinking that through, who's the person whose feelings you'd like to hurt the least? Well, in my case, it's going to be my wife. And then I really want to have a good relationship with my son and daughter-in-law, my grandchildren, with people in church, and just people generally, really. But the most important relationship in my life is my relationship with God. And so I really don't want to hurt his feelings. Now here's the problem. I do. I mean, I seriously do. Jesus, in order to help us to understand how much we hurt God's feelings, actually said at one point, you must be perfect, just as your Father in heaven is perfect. And the Apostle Paul just summed up our problem by saying there's no difference. All have sinned and fallen short of the glory of God. So here am I, who hurts God's feelings. And that's terrible. How then do I have a relationship with God? Well, the answer is quite simply that Jesus has enabled that to happen. So that despite all my failings, Jesus has dealt with that problem, that gap in the relationship between me and God that's my fault. And all those hurt feelings are dealt with on the cross. So that God doesn't remember all the things I've done to hurt his feelings. He just looks at the good stuff. But he looks at all of me, and he loves me. But he looks with me through the eyes of Jesus, who has covered me in such a way that only that which does not hurt God's feelings is visible to him. Now don't ask me to unpack that to 12 decimal places. It's something miraculous that God has done through himself for us, remembering that Jesus is God. So God himself has dealt with the problem of sin. Where does that leave me? Well, if I confess my sin, God is faithful and just to forgive me my sin, cleanse me from every kind of wrong, so that I can have a living relationship with him, so that Jesus can be my friend, so that God the Father is the perfect Father that you or I have never had on earth, but is always there for me, is strong and steadfast, loving and caring, and always looking out for me. And then when my body finally gives up the ghost, that spirit will depart the body, will rest in peace, and then go to be with him forever. all of that's dealt with by Jesus on the cross. All of that is done through him, through his death and resurrection. All I have to do is my little bit, which is to say, yes, I believe. And if I believe, I'm sorry for what I've done, and I need a saviour. And then to try and help me to please God more, I need Jesus to run my life. And however we look at this time of year, at Lent, or at any time of the year, that message is still true. But if we won't accept Jesus, we're really saying it's okay to hurt God's feelings. And it most certainly isn't. And one day, when we've died, those of us who had no interest in God and have been quite happy to trample on what he wants and what he likes, will stand in the presence of God, and he will not be pleased. But he's pleased with us if we believe and follow. And he's pleased with us when we tell other people about it, because he's just the best.